Hey, it's Jaime, owner and CEO of bookkeepers.com, and this channel exists to encourage you, to equip you, and to help you grow your bookkeeping business. In this video, I spent some time chatting with Alex Roman, the head of sales of South Offices. Now, if you don't know who South Offices is, you will learn about them in this episode. So I encourage you to watch until the end and see all of the insights that he has from his perspective. Welcome everyone. I have the privilege to have Alex Roman with me today from South Offices. Alex, you are the head of sales of South Offices, is that correct?
That's correct, Jaime. I'm the head of sales of South Offices.
Now, the purpose of this is we really want to get to know who you are. I really want to get to meet a lot of the people that are in the accounting space and the bookkeeping space, and I think that you play an integral part of that, of the industry. And so before we jump into who you are and what you guys do, I did want to ask you a question. Before you started working at South Offices, I mean, I'm taking you all the way back to maybe when you were like 15. What was the very first job that you ever had? And I don't mean the first job where you got, I don't know, thousands of dollars. I mean the first job that was paying you a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there.
Well, good question. So I finished high school. I was living with my parents. I went to the University of Buenos Aires to study. You know what? I studied business directly. And there I just wanted to have my own money. There was a bakery like 2 blocks from the house of my mother. I remember I just went a random Sunday just to go and get bread, and there was a sign, like, I'm talking about, this was in the 2001, and there was a sign that said something like, hey, I don't know, an assistant is needed, you just need to know how to use the internet or something like that. And I had a computer at home, so I said, hey, maybe this is for me. So that was actually my first job. I stood there for like 15 or 16 days total.
Oh.
So just 2 weeks.
Oh man, so not too long.
Wow.
So my first job, I'll tell you, my very first job ever was I was a referee for little kids soccer. And when I mean little kids, I mean they were like 4 years old. Like the youngest you can be in a club soccer team. And I got paid $10 a game. And it was so bad because at the time, I'm like 13, and I would forget to check my time. And I remember vividly, I had a parent come to me and say, "Hey, Jaime," or he said, "Hey, referee, I think it's been a long, like they've played enough, right?" And I was like, I looked at my clock or my watch, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like they played like double what they should."
I forgot just to finish the game. Okay. So that was your first one, and I was gonna say, I mean, that was actually going in the bakery. That was my real first job. Again, I only lasted just 2 weeks. I realized that was not for me. And then I'm talking about Argentina of 2002 when I finished high school. Here in Argentina, we had like a really big crisis in 2001. We have one every 15 years. That's the way we do it. And my first job back then, or let's say the second one, but it was more formal. It was at a call center. A call center back then, there were many actually, like call centers that came to Argentina specifically. And I remember I was working for Dell Computers. I was in sales. I was receiving calls from customers from the US. I even remember the speech, how I had my headset and I said something like, "Thank you for choosing Dell Electronic and Accessory Sales. This is Alex. What can I order for you today?" So
It's funny how those things stick with you. Like you remember those things like for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So Alex, you and I share one common love, and that's for soccer, right? I know that when we met each other, it was at the BKX conference. You came up to me. I used a soccer analogy, and you were like, "Hey, I can relate. I totally understand what he's saying because I get it, right?" So that was my first job. You mentioned 2 jobs that you've already had. Walk us through how you got to from the bakery to Dell, and now you're in the accounting industry, which is totally different.
Yeah, I've been in sales a lot. I've been working after that, the job at this call center. I worked for a few years at IBM, and I had experience working in corporations, but also in startups. Then, I worked for a few years where I made a career in this software company. It was a Spanish company, Tango 04. I was working specifically with the States. And then at some point of my life, I discovered the startup world. I even had my own software development company. I still have it, actually. I own my software development company. And a few years ago, Nicholas, the CEO at South Offices, who's a close friend of mine, he said, "Hey, you just need to jump in here. We can really get your help." And as you said, it's definitely a new world for me, the accounting industry. But it's my job just to go to events and meet people. And I don't know, I always tell the same. I don't know if I'm just lucky that I just met the 300 people or 400 people that are just really, really nice, and it's just me being lucky meeting only the cool people in the accounting industry. Or maybe it's that everyone in the accounting industry, it's really cool. So for me, just discovering this, it was kind of like, I don't know, a discovery. I'm enjoying. I'm happy that I made this to this new industry where I feel really, really comfortable, and I'm meeting great people every day.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you get to do all the fun stuff. And I will say, from meeting you, you make it easy to be fun. I don't think everybody in the accounting industry is as fun as the people you've met. So I think there's some luck in there. But I also think you just make it very easy to be friendly and have a good time with you.
Thank you for saying that, but I don't know. I also feel that it can be luck. It can be luck. It's not that I'm just running into people that are cool. I don't know. It feels that maybe they share something in common. I told you when after you gave that pitch, probably the first one you made as the CEO of bookkeepers.com, I remember, and you made this analogy of soccer. I went there, I introduced myself, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was there specifically or maybe in another conversation that we had there in BKX, I told you that in that trip I was coming from Miami. I went
Yes.
prior to that to Scaling New Heights, or to another conference of another called Mega, I remember. And specifically in BKX, I felt this sense of community that I found it specifically there, which was great. Again, and I was this Argentinian guy who was going for the first time just to BKX, and I don't know, everyone that I met was really cool. So I don't know if it's only luck. I feel that there's also cool people in accounting.
Yeah. Right place, right time. For sure. And Alex, you've mentioned Argentina a couple of times. I know that you are currently in Argentina, and you mentioned just a few minutes ago that it seems like every 15 years there's hardships, right, that you guys deal with. I'm sure there's a lot of different challenges that you've dealt with through every single career path that you've been on, even including working here at South Offices as a head of sales. Are there any challenges that you can think of that have served you to grow and to be maybe a better salesperson, maybe just a better person in general, or I don't know, a better friend, a better business colleague? Is there something that comes to mind?
The answer is yes, and there are many things. This is something that I've learned, that I like to learn, and whenever something does not go on the way that we think, I like just to think it as, hey, then this is me going for this experience for the first time, and this means that I'm learning, and I was not calculating that this could happen, but here I am. So I'm not upset that maybe I don't have the achievement or the goal that I had prior to that, but I'm happy, or I like just to look at this is a typical thing that we say in Spanish, like to look at the half, no, it's also in English, right? To look at the half full of the glass.
Yes.
Right? Well, I'll say I like just to look at the 18th percent that it's full of the glass, like meaning there's not a lot, there's just a little, but it's still something that I can learn. So now just trying. One thing that I can think of, I was at some point in this company where I worked a lot. At some point, I was going to different events, different Garner events, and my role was basically just to do the typical presentation. It was a 9-slide presentation that I knew by heart, and I was really comfortable doing that presentation without any problem. And I remember for the first time in my life, I was in my 20s, I had just to give that very same presentation, but now this time it was in a stage with a quarter or a fifth of the people that were there in BKX. Maybe there were 100, but maybe there were less. And it was me just giving that very same presentation that I had experienced. But on the first few minutes, there was a blank in my brain, and I didn't know what to say, and I got nervous. I ended up just doing that presentation. Everything went fine. Then I asked my colleagues, hey, how did it go? No, you were great, Alex. Everything is great. But then I said, hey, I need just to learn from this. What can I do to improve? So next time I'm on stage, I'm going to be able to be comfortable. I got back to Argentina. This was pretty sure it was in Dallas in Texas. I went back to Argentina, and one of my passions is, for me, humor is something really, really important. I really enjoy, for instance, stand-up comedy. So that was the thing that triggered me basically taking a course of stand-up comedy. And I studied for like 6 months. Then I went to a few pubs and bars here in Buenos Aires. So yeah, that was one lesson. The first thing that comes to mind with your question. But again, I feel that of those, there are like probably every week. And yeah, I'll try to learn and keep on going.
With stand-up comedy, I've never done it. And anytime I'm on stage, it's always scary. It doesn't matter how many times you've been on, it's always a little scary. But to have the material so well memorized to do stand-up is incredible. And I think it's something that it's a skill that if you can develop that, I think some of the best speakers have that skill to be able to also do stand-up comedy. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but stand-up comedy, for instance, it's all a monologue there's nothing that you're improvising. Everything is written down. I don't know how to say it in English. Un guion? How do you say that? It's written, right? It's
Yeah. So like everything is scripted.
It's scripted. Yeah, that's the word. Everything is scripted, so you know exactly like all the pauses that you need just to say before a joke or the punchline. And so yeah, that's how it works in stand-up comedy.
And so there's two things that I want to get into also, and I'm going to pivot here. The first one is I want to talk more about South Offices because I want to know we've got to know you better, but I want to get to know about what is South Offices. The other thing is I want to talk about your podcast because you also have a podcast, and I think the message that you bring in that podcast is very important. But let's talk about South Offices first. So give us just an overview of what South Offices is.
Right. Well, basically, we're a company. We help mainly accounting firms find talent in Argentina. As you know, in the States, there's a shortage of accounting talent. Here in Argentina, we have lots of CPAs, lots of accountants. Nicholas, the CEO of South Offices, he has an accounting firm here in Argentina, and we discovered that we're pretty good at finding talent. So that's basically what we do. For us, it's really important just to find the ideal match, the perfect fit for the company. And then, what we do is we have an LLC in the States, and we try just to make everything simple for our clients. And again, find someone who it's online culturally, that will absorb the culture of the company, and that wants to stay a long time working for our clients. And that's what we do. We focus mainly, I'll say like 99% in accounting. So it's not that you can reach out and say, hey Alex, I want you to help me find someone from, I don't know, a developer or someone from customer care. That's not our core, but we are pretty good at finding good talent for accounting.
So, and just so I want to kind of walk through that process. I have a bookkeeping firm and I want to hire somebody, and I'm thinking about potentially hiring somebody abroad using South offices. You find the talent for me, and then that person is assigned to me, or are there multiple people assigned to me and they're all working as one person? What I'm trying to get at is it kind of more of an employee-employer relationship, or am I hiring a company that, for example, maybe you give me somebody, they quit, and you just have other people lined up? Can you kind of walk me through what that looks like after hiring somebody?
Yes, and thank you for asking me that question, because I can elaborate and explain you this. Basically, I can walk you from the process. You have an accounting firm, which you have, and at some point you're gonna say, hey, I need someone. Why not explore this cool company, South Offices? I know Alex, he was invited just to my podcast, and I went to Humans in Accounting, and you reach out. So what I'm gonna do, the first thing is try to understand the culture of your company, how you work, what are you looking, what's the ideal candidate look like. I'm gonna ask you also for a job description. Once I understand that, we are pretty fast. Like within a week, we should be able to find someone that we consider it's good fit for you. So at that point, I'm gonna say the part of the process you need just to sign an agreement that it says the interview agreement, where basically you cannot hire them directly, but that's it. Sure. Then I'll introduce the candidate, and if you like that candidate, it's gonna go through your recruitment process, whether that's one interview, 2 interviews, an assessment, whatever it is. And then once you're happy and you consider this is the right fit for your company, at that point we sign an agreement, and probably that person is going to take 1 or 2 weeks, and they're going to be working directly with you. This is someone is going to be working obviously remotely. For them it's an advantage just to work remotely, but they will be absorbing your culture, and they will be working with you. The model is we have an LLC in the States. The client pays us and we pay the candidate, and the candidate will work directly with you. It's not that we have a group. It's not outsourcing where you just send us the things that you need to do. We do it here in our offices, and we just give you the results so that you can share. No, it's like hiring someone in Boston or in, I don't know, anywhere, Miami, San Diego, etc. But it's going to be somewhere in Argentina.
Yeah, so it really is more of like an employee-employer relationship with South offices in the middle, as the middleman. Correct. I gotcha. Awesome. So you're in Argentina. South Offices is based out of Argentina. There are other companies that do something similar all across the world that you're familiar with. What makes South Offices, being in South America and Argentina specifically, what makes you guys, I'm going to say, better than the rest of them?
I can tell you things that I like. I don't know if we're the best company, but things that are definitely advantages is, again, we are time alignment. That's an advantage. Argentina is 1 hour ahead of Eastern time. All the agreements where we close an agreement of a bookkeeper that is going to start working with the company, like typically they would be working 9 to 5 Eastern time. So that is an advantage that our clients have. Then I feel culturally, we're definitely closer. We're even comparing. Definitely, if you compare with other countries outside America, we're closer because the culture is more similar. But specifically from America, from South America, I think that Argentinians, we are closer. Not entirely sure why. I don't know. We watch a lot of TV shows, series. The work ethic is pretty, similar. I don't know. If we talk or people that we introduce, they're all professionals. They're all people that are bilingual. They're going to have an accent like myself, but they're all going to be able just to have a conversation with a client of our clients. I don't know. I always say the same. If you're talking with a CPA and you're telling them, hey, you need just to do this or that or so forth, and they don't understand, it's really odd that an Argentinian with this level of education is gonna like smile and say yes without understanding what you're telling them. Most likely they're gonna tell you, sorry, can you repeat that? I don't get it. Or they're also gonna be able just to disagree if they actually disagree and they feel that they could do the same thing better in another way. So all those things, I think there are advantages. And then us, I don't know, the culture that we have also inside South offices, I think it's pretty good. For us, it's really important, our clients, our employees, and we want to make sure that the client is happy working with the employee, but we also do some check-ins from the employee side. Just want to make sure that they're also happy working with this company. So those are advantages that I feel we have.
I want to add on to that. You mentioned that the time zone difference, that's huge. There are companies in other countries on the other side of the world that are in totally different time zones that will tell you our employees will work on the American time zone, on Eastern time. And while that may be true, what you don't see is that because those people are having to work crazy hours in the middle of the night to match the American time zone, what happens is you end up having a lot of turnover. So they get a better job, right? Let's say you're in a country in Europe and you're working crazy hours to match American hours. You get a better job that pays similar, but now you get to work normal hours in Europe time. You're going to take that. So then you get a lot of turnover, and us as the bookkeeping or accounting firms in the US, we're left with just having a new employee that keeps getting assigned to us every month or so, right? So I think that's a huge advantage, because not only do you have the time zone while other companies are trying to match that, the fact that they're on the other side of the world, they'll never be able to. Like, that's a huge advantage where you guys are.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, what ended up happening is that, as you said, if they ever get like another job opportunity for the same salary, it's a no-brainer for them. They would rather just sleep during the night. And I don't know, maybe there's a specific case that this is how they want to live their life, but usually it's not the case. So yeah.
Alex, you mentioned Humans in Accounting. That's your podcast. That's the podcast that you host. I love the message that you have. It's in the name itself. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Sure. I can tell you everything. And because you were one of our guests. We'll be publishing that episode probably in the next few weeks. I'll tell you, this was an idea we had. I'm Argentinian, I have this accent, I've never done a podcast in my life. Yeah, we thought it was a good idea. Now that everyone is talking about AI, I am constantly talking about AI. AI is so incredible, and each day I'm discovering something new and telling myself, oh my God, I cannot believe what is going on. So since we were all in this mood, last year, we thought, hey, why don't we do a podcast first? Because we can. You just need a mic, and that's about it. And let's focus a little bit more on the human part, which is like really, really important. So I started with no experience, not knowing what I was doing. The first episode I made with Michael Lee. Again, you can check it out. I'm not really proud, but Michael helped us out a lot. And for that episode, it made that first episode. And now we made over 20, over 30. And honestly, I am enjoying. I'm having genuine conversations with our guests, and I am also learning. It has been a really good experience, and that's basically the spirit of the podcast. Invite guests if they have a story just to share from the human part, talk, have fun, and that's it. Ask them what's their favorite food as well.
I love that. Yeah, the message I think is so important, because you mentioned AI is one of those, it's a buzzword, but it is one of those things that sometimes people have so much fear of. But it's what makes bookkeepers or accountants so special is the relationship that they have with their clients. Can a robot maybe do a reconciliation? Maybe not so great yet. Eventually, it might get there. But will it ever have that relationship with the client? That won't ever happen. And so I really love the message that you guys have. Alex, one more thing here. You mentioned it just a second ago, your first podcast. You said, not very proud of it. I think there's a message there. The first podcast you do, the first video you do, the first blog post you do, the first client you have, or it's gonna be bad. And I think I love that the message that you just said, and it wasn't even planned that you have like a message there, but the fact that you realize, hey, you have to just do it. Your first one, your first everything, you're gonna look back years from now and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like that's terrible. And that just shows how much you've grown as a person and as for people with accounting firms as a firm owner. And just know that like when you start something, don't wait for perfection because it's not going to be there. Your first everything is going to be bad. At best, maybe terrible, and for sure it will be embarrassing to watch in the future.
Right. But again, the good thing is that just by doing that thing for the first time, then you're gonna do it a second time, and it's gonna be definitely better. And for the third time, it's gonna be better. And once you do it 20 times, you're gonna feel comfortable. And that's whether you're riding your bike or going to the gym or whatever the thing you're doing. So yeah, you know what? In Humans in Accounting, I usually ask my guests, like the last question I like to ask is, what's an advice they could give other entrepreneurs? And what I've realized that all people that I feel that everyone who was in the podcast as a guest, they're really talented people, and everyone is telling me the majority or a big percentage of them, they all tend to say something like, do it, jump, don't be afraid. If you're having doubts whether to do it or not, or to do it, just do it. So yeah, something that we say, and we just need just to do, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that message. Alex, I'll end with this. Normally, I like to ask people that have a bookkeeping business or an accounting business this question, but I think it's kind of important from your perspective because you have a different lens that you look at things through. You mentioned AI already. Where do you see the industry, the bookkeeping and accounting industry, going in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, where do you see that the industry evolving to?
That's a good one. I feel, and again, I am a little bit biased. This is what we do in South offices. I feel that roles are going to change a little by things that we can be automating and with new tools, with new technology. But you've said it before, and I feel this is not only in the accounting industry, but also in other industries. This is going to affect the human part. Is going to be really, really important. And I think that's where we need just to put a lot of focus on the human part. The human part, it was really important, but now it's going to be even more important. And definitely there are going to be, maybe some jobs are going to change, but I don't feel that everyone will be replaced. As if you go and if you open LinkedIn, like you're going to have 10 or to 17 posts like, when is AI going to replace us? How much time do we have? I think that there's gonna pivot and change, but the human part, it's gonna stay. Yeah, we need just to focus on that part.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Alex, your insights. I think learning from somebody that's not necessarily in the bookkeeping, or is not a bookkeeping business owner or an accounting firm owner, is important to really understand your perspective because you're in the industry, but you see things in ways that maybe that we're blinded to, right? And so thank you so much for taking the time.
Jaime, gracias por la invitación. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos just like this, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one.